If standard therapeutic approaches are not sufficient to effectively cure a particular cancer, sometimes only an allogeneic blood stem cell transplant can truly help to comprehensively control the malignant cancer cells in the long term and prevent their recurrence. The term allogeneic means here that you receive the stem cells from another person who is referred to as the donor. And the donor's stem cells ensure that the body can once again produce healthy blood, including the white blood cells, which are the defense and immune cells. This means that you not only receive another person's blood-forming system and cells, but also their immune cells. And that's extremely important, because the hope is that the new immune cells you receive will fight and destroy any remaining cancer cells left in the body. This is known as the graft versus tumor effect you may have already heard of. But for all of this to work as intended, your existing blood-forming system, and thus also your immune cells, must first be destroyed. Of course, this is a very radical approach, and that's why the whole procedure comes with certain risks, but we'll talk about that in another video. And once it's clear that your child, or you as a teenager, need an allogeneic stem cell transplant, you're probably wondering how the whole process actually works. That's a very good question. So let's get into that now. First of all, you can imagine the transplantation as being quite similar to a journey over a mountain. Like this one, with its climbers. So we will look at this with our model here now. The treatment actually follows a set route up the mountain and back down again. But wait, before you can set off, everything has to be perfectly prepared and planned. Because after all, you wouldn't want to try to climb Mount Everest in flip-flops and just some sleeping mat under your arm, right? So, like in a real expedition, first we're spending some time down here at the base of the trekking company, the so-called base camp, meaning we're preparing at the base camp before the actual ascent begins. And for an allogeneic stem cell transplant, the very first thing you need, of course, is a stem cell donor. How exactly the search for a suitable donor works, you'll find out in one of the next videos. But before the transplantation journey can really begin, a lot of preliminary examinations still have to take place. During these, your child's or your general state of health is examined very closely because you need a lot of strength to be able to embark on this journey. Okay, and once all of that is checked off, we can actually start our ascent up our imaginary mountain. So, in the beginning, the first stage goes all the way up the mountain, and this is the so-called conditioning phase. That serves as an important preparation for the actual transplantation. This conditioning phase consists of a high-dose chemotherapy. High dose means that cancer medications are administered that are very powerful. For some illnesses, radiation therapy is also added to the treatment plan. The goal, after all, is to eliminate all cancer cells in the end. At the same time, the stem cells in the bone marrow are also destroyed, making room for the new stem cells. Of course, such a high-dose therapy is a tremendous strain on the body. So to prevent the body from becoming too weakened, this conditioning phase only lasts a few days to about a week. And then, a day or two later, the time has come. The transplantation phase begins. You have now basically reached the summit of the mountain, and with it, a very important stage of the therapy. The day on which the new stem cells are transferred is also called day 0 in the treatment. For many affected people, it is something very special, like a second birthday when you are given the chance of a new life. But even though the whole situation may possibly feel very new and challenging for you, the transplantation itself will take place without much fuss. The stem cells are simply administered like a normal blood transfusion through a venous catheter. There's really nothing more you need to do, because the stem cells will find their way to the bone marrow all on their own. And from now on, it's all about making it safely and soundly back down the mountain. Usually going down is faster than going up, but with a transplantation, things are a bit different. In the beginning, you're in the aplasia phase from day 0 to day 21, and during this time, the body is still completely defenseless, because the intensive cancer therapy has wiped everything clean. As a result, blood counts drop to rock bottom and the immune system's battery is almost completely drained. So the body is extremely susceptible to infections. For this reason, your child or you as a teenager will also have to stay in a sterile single room. These rooms, for example, have an air filtration system that keeps all germs out. It then takes about 10 to 20 days to reach the next stage. This is the so-called regeneration phase, which is from day 10 to day 28. During this period, the new stem cells will grow in the bone marrow and will begin to produce new blood. And during this time, there can also be some unwanted and severe reactions between your own body cells and the donor's immune cells. This can happen because the donor cells may see the new environment of your body as foreign. You can find out more about this in our video on the risks of a stem cell transplant. And that also means things can really snowball and the descent gets a bit steeper. Now you all need some patience, because it takes at least 4 weeks until the blood values normalize and the body's own immune system really gets going again. Only then, once the blood count has recovered, can young patients start taking the first steps out of the single room. So you can start taking small trips again. Most people, of course, can hardly wait for that moment. But you still have to stay in the clinic a bit longer until your blood values have stabilized sufficiently. But even then, you still haven't reached the end of the journey, right? Because even after being discharged, during the outpatient phase, regular checkups continue to make sure everything is really okay. Because especially in the first 3 to 6 months after the transplant, serious complications can still occur. So only when the new stem cells have fully settled in is the transplant really considered as complete, and then you've really made it all the way to the end of the mountain, so to speak, and have come back all the way down again. What only took a few minutes here, what we just briefly went through, actually takes months in real life, often a year or even longer. Unfortunately, you can't say exactly how long it will take in general terms. It simply takes some time for the body to fully recover from all these hardships and for your entire immune system to be back at full strength. But if you liked the idea with the mountain, then maybe you could think about making your own mountain, right? Of course, you can also draw it, print it out, or do whatever you like, right? Depending, of course, on how creative you want to get. And then you can mark where you are, roughly in your therapy, and what you've already accomplished. That can be very motivating and help to set sub-goals. It can also help to represent time better when working with children. Just give it a try.